What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we're going to talk about this NFL Sunday afternoon matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, so this game's set to kick off October 6th at 1 p.m. East Coast time. This game will be played in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, the line right now is Jacksonville by 3. The over-under is set at 46. And thus far, there really hasn't been any movement. It's just stayed flat at 3 and the over-under at 46. But let's go ahead and let's look at this matchup real quick, guys. All right, so the Colts come into this one looking to build on back-to-back wins after picking up a 27-24 win over Pittsburgh last time out to climb to 2-2 this year. All right, and when you look at that last time out, that last matchup, right? So in the first quarter, Pittsburgh came out. They didn't really do anything, 0 points. But the Colts came out like gangbusters, put up 14 points, man. Then the second quarter, it was 3-3. All right, so that at halftime, the score was 17-3 Colts. Then the third quarter, Pittsburgh finally put a touchdown on the board. They put up 7. Colts didn't do anything. But the fourth quarter, the Colts went ahead and edged it out. They only put up 10. Pittsburgh put up 14. So it worked out, whereas the score was 27-24 final. Pittsburgh takes the L. All right, so Justin Fields came out there and went 22 for 34 for 312 yards, 1 touchdown, while Joe Flacco went 16 for 26, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns after Anthony Richardson ended up getting hurt. All right. Justin Fields also went 10 carries for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns, whereas Jonathan Taylor, he went 21 carries, 88 yards, 1 touchdown. Then you look what Colts gave up as far as to wide receivers. They allowed George Pickens to go 7 receptions for 113 yards, while Michael Pittman Jr., he came in, did 6 receptions for 113 yards. Pittsburgh outgained the Colts 404 yards to 358. But Pittsburgh also had 2 turnovers, guys. All right, and Pittsburgh also won the battle when it came to first downs. Pittsburgh ended up with 23 first downs to the Colts 22 first downs for that game. Pittsburgh even won the time of possession, man. Time of possession, Pittsburgh had that 31 minutes and 7 seconds to 28 minutes and 53 seconds. Okay, so what happened when it was actually out there on the field? Well, you know, Pittsburgh came out there and passed 11 times and ran 10 times. Equal ball, just like Pittsburgh always does. But once Joe Flacco came in the game, it kind of changed everything because the Colts were able to come out and pass 13 times on first down and then run 7 times on first down. Completely changed the game when Joe Flacco comes in versus, let's just face it, Anthony Richardson, who can't throw. He just can't throw. He's not ready yet, you know. Third down efficiency. The Colts allowed Pittsburgh to go 6 for 13 on third down, whereas the Colts came out there and went 8 for 15 on third down, which was definitely huge for them and really translated into that W. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at Jacksonville in their last game, man. So Jacksonville Jaguars will be looking for their first win after ending up with a 24-20 loss to the Houston Texans last time out. All right, so they're officially 0-4, season's over, done data. They got to figure out what's going on. So what happened in this game? Well, first quarter, Jacksonville actually had a lead for a second there, man. It was up 10-7. Then the second quarter, Jacksonville only put up 3 points and Houston put up 10. All right, so at that point, it's 17-13. And from there, Jacksonville came out. Third quarter, they came out fighting. Want to throw a little punch right there, you know what I'm saying? Gave them 7 points. Okay. No response by Houston. And then in the fourth quarter, Houston came out and box checked them. Put that touchdown up. Scores 24-20. Final. Okay. Now, here's the problems with Jacksonville. You cannot win games when your number 1 pick quarterback in his 5th year, 6 years, going 18 for 33 for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, that's not going to work. Especially if you allow the other quarterback to go 27 for 40 for 345 yards and 2 touchdowns, guys. All right, Trevor Lawrence is who he is right now. And if they don't figure out what's going on up there, and I'm talking about figure it out soon, boy, that coach might lose his job because they just got done signing Trevor Lawrence to the extension. He just got the new deal. So He's not moving. He's not going anywhere. In that worst case scenario, the coach is going to be the one that has to go. Okay? So as far as the rushing game for Jacksonville, they were able to carry the ball 7 carries for 90 yards and then 11 carries for 50 yards for Travis Etienne. Brian Thomas Jr., the rook, came out 6 receptions for 86 yards, 1 touchdown, while Nico Collins did what he does. 12 receptions, 151 yards, and 1 touchdown, man. That boy's a beast. I mean, he's a dog, man. So, Jacksonville lost the time possession 26 minutes and 43 seconds to 33 minutes and 17 seconds. That's definitely pivotal, and let you understand kind of what happened in this game, man. All right. Of course, we know Houston wasn't running the ball. Houston on first down, they passed the ball 20 times and only ran it 4 times. Jacksonville kind of got caught up in that same mix, 11 passes to 5 rushes on first down. You know, that's definitely something you want to pay attention to because that means that they were vulnerable in certain aspects, guys. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's look at what the Colts have done for the season, right? So far this season, Anthony Richardson has thrown for 654 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on 50.6 passing, while rushing for 141 yards and a touchdown. But then you also got to remember Joe Flacco's played a little bit too, man. He's thrown 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, with 61.5% passing. Jonathan Taylor has a team-high 349 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, while Alec Pierce leads the Colts receiving group with 234 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, while Michael Pittman Jr. Has a team-high 17 receptions for 201 yards, and Josh Downs has 104 yards as well. So when you look over at Jacksonville, what they've been doing, okay, so far this season, like I was saying, Trevor Lawrence is not having a good season. He's only throwing for 729 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception on 53.3% passing. While Travis Etienne Jr., he's only rushed for 214 so far this year and 2 touchdowns. While Tank Bigsby's catching up on him quick with 172 rushing yards so far this season. And Brian Thomas Jr., he just has a team-high 17 grabs for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Christian Kirk also has 17 receptions on his own for 169 yards. Gabe Davis, who came over from Buffalo, has 121 receiving yards so far this season. And on defense, Monteric Brown has 29 tackles, including 22 solo tackles, while Indianapolis' defense as a whole has combined for 7 sacks so far this season, guys. All right, so when you look at this matchup, right, you got to first off understand the injury report. And when you look at the injury report, you understand that there's a lot of people injured out here for the Colts, man. Whether you're talking about Anthony Richardson being questionable, still managing an oblique injury, so it's uncertain if he'll dress. Grant Stewart, he's still questionable, hampered by the heel injury. Zaire Franklin, linebacker, also ailing from an illness. Ryan Kelly, he's questionable, hobbled by the neck injury. And then Braden Smith, he's questionable, hampered by the knee injury. Significant injuries throughout this team, especially on the offensive line for the Colts. And then when you look over here at the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not the healthiest team right now either. They got Darnell Savage still hobbled by that quadricep injury, and he's questionable. Devin Lloyd still questionable, hobbled by the foot injury. Up in the air if he's going to play. Evan Ingram still questionable with the hamstring, laid up in the hamstring. Travis Etienne Jr., he's questionable. Wow, man. He's still tending to a shoulder injury, and it's up in the air if he's going to be out there. Tank Bigsby, he's questionable with the shoulder injury as well. Gabe Davis, he's hampered by a shoulder injury. All right, just a rash of shoulder injuries over there for the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. All right, then when you look at the actual matchup and what these guys have been doing thus far this season, you got to go ahead and see what they've been scoring and what they look like. So, Colts average 21.3 points per game on offense, whereas Jacksonville averages giving up 27.3. Jacksonville has the 30th worst defense in the NFL, whereas the Colts are middle of the pack with that 17. All right. Then on third down conversions, Colts are able to convert 39.13% of their third downs. That's 18th in the NFL. But Jacksonville allows you to convert 42.59% of the time, man. That's 24th worst in the NFL. Then look at the red zone. If the Colts make it to the red zone, they go ahead and check that box, man. They rank 9th in the NFL with 61.54% conversion rate in the red zone for a touchdown. Whereas when you look at Jacksonville, man, they got the 28th worst defense in the red zone, man. They allow you to get it 75% of the time. They're going to give you that box check. So Jacksonville defense could be in a lot of trouble in this game, depending on what quarterback comes out to start and how they actually react to that. All right, so then let's look over at Jacksonville. So Jacksonville only averages 15 points a game. That's 20th in the NFL. But the Colts defense allows 21.3. So that leaves a little bit more opportunity for Jacksonville to score a couple points. All right. Then when you're looking at let's look at the third down conversions. Third down conversions, Jacksonville does not convert at all. They only convert 25% of the time. That's 30th worst in the NFL. But the saving grace is the Colts will allow them to convert 49.23% of the time. Literally the 29th worst defense on third down in the NFL. So if Jacksonville can't figure it out how to do it right now, they will never ever figure it out. And this season will be dead. They won't win one game, guys. Won't win one. So then let's go ahead and look at Jacksonville and the Colts rushing the ball. Right now, you're looking at the Colts offense that's number 7 in the NFL rushing. That's 5.0 yards per carry. Versus Jacksonville's stout number 6 overall defense against the run, only allowing 3.9 yards. Jacksonville only allows 107.3 yards per complete game. All right, whereas the Colts, they average gaining 131.8. That's 9th best in the NFL, guys. So definite advantage to the Colts there, even though not a huge one. Then we look over in the inverse, Jacksonville on offense, running the ball, they average 126.3 yards per game, whereas the Colts will average 160. They give up 164.8. That's 31st worst. So definitely a lot of opportunity for Jacksonville to run the ball down the throat of this Colts team, but they just got to be ready and willing to actually do that. Because it just seems so far this season to me like there's a lot of not being willing to do what needs to be done to win these games, guys. And I think that, some changes have got to be made. Guys. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look a little bit deeper into what's going on out here on the field, right? So if you look at the stat splits for so far this season between these two teams, the last 3 games, the Colts are averaging 19.8 points per game, and they're giving up 18.7. Whereas Jacksonville's averaging 14.3, but they're giving up 29.7 points per game, man. Then if you look in this situation, the Colts are only averaging 10 points per game, and Jacksonville's only averaging 13 points per game. But both of them are only averaging 16 and 18 points respectively surrendered per game in this situation. So that means on the road, the Colts only allow you to score 19% of the time versus, like they got a long way to go, guys. Long way to go. All right, so now that we've looked at that and we've looked at what they score in this current situation and where they sit at, let's look situationally where their record actually sits at right now, right? So we know Jacksonville's starting off right now 0-4. Okay, and the Colts are 2-2 straight up against the spread. Jacksonville's actually 2-2 against the spread, and the Colts are 3-1 against the spread. All right, they're 3-0 at home, covering every time, but they're 0-1 on the road against the spread. So over/under is concerned. Over/under is 2-2, 2 to the over, 2 to the under for the Colts. But for Jacksonville, it's been 1 to the over and 3 to the under. All right, and as far as a home team, Jacksonville has been 1 under so far this season as the home team. All right, so looking a little bit deeper into this matchup and how these two teams have looked the last 10 times they've been out there, man. Right now, the Colts are 5-5 in the last 10 games they played, 5-5 against the spread, and 6 to the over, 4 to the under in their last 10. Whereas Jacksonville in their last 10 is 1-9, guys. 1-9, straight up in their last 10 games. 3-7 against the spread, and 4-6 as far as the over-under is concerned. That means 4 overs and 6 unders, guys. Wow. So, head-to-head, these two teams have lined up. Jacksonville runs at 6-4 in the last 10. Jacksonville runs at 8-2 in their last 10. And it's been 6 to the over, 4 to the under in their last 10 games. Last time that the Colts were able to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars was way back on October 16, 2022. Then the score, Colts were giving up 27 points that day. I guess they tried them because the score ended up being 34-27. Colts. All right. That's definitely a barn burner there for these two teams. Okay. Especially for that year, too, because the Colts really didn't have much, in my opinion, in 2022. And Jacksonville already had Trevor Lawrence in 2022. All right, guys. So, trends for these two teams. The Colts have hit the first quarter game total over in 14 of their last 20 games, whereas Jacksonville has covered the third quarter spread in 13 of their last 17 games. The Colts have hit the fourth quarter game total under in 6 of their last 7 away games, and Jacksonville has hit the first half game total under in 6 of their last 9 games at home. The Colts have hit the first quarter game total money line in 10 of their last 20 games. All right, and Jacksonville has hit the third quarter money line in 11 of their last 17 games. Then the Colts have also hit the game total over in 12 of the last 20 games. And Jacksonville has hit the third quarter game total over in 12 of the last 17 games. All right, guys, and last but not least, so when you're looking at why I believe there is a strong opportunity for both of these teams. Starting off with the Colts. So, the Colts have lost each of their last 8 games against AFC opponents. The underdogs have won 5 of their last 6 games at Everbank Stadium. The Jacksonville Jaguars have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 7 home games at Everbank Stadium following a division loss. The Colts have covered the spread in 10 of their last 12 Week 5 games. All right. Now, as far as Jacksonville is concerned, the Colts have lost each of their last 8 games at Everbank Stadium. The Jaguars have won each of their last 8 games against Colts at Everbank Stadium. The Jaguars have covered the spread in each of their last 8 games against the Colts following a road loss. And the Colts have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 8 games at Everbank Stadium, guys. Now, I know it's easy to sit here and say that Jacksonville being 0-4 and they should be favored, yada, 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 whatever. Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. And if Anthony Richardson goes out there on that field, I got to take Trevor Lawrence. Now, Joe Flacco, whole nother ball game because he's a battler and he's a fighter. All right, so, there's multiple ways I would attack this. But definitely would look towards the under the 40 or under the 46, guys. And I guess I could lean to 3.5. Or no. Jacksonville money line. I could see that. Minus 155. Yeah, could definitely see that. All right, but I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. If this information helps you, please say something in the comments. Let me know what's going on, man. Let me know what y'all's picks are. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe, man. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.